Hello, Commander, and welcome back to the Radio Sidewinder Talk Show. I'm Commander Felix Jefferson, and as usual, I'm joined by...
I'm Commander Stephen Atronach, and I want to apologize ahead of time if my voice sounds rather rough. I've actually been out enjoying some of the lovely rum that's been created in Harma.
Oh? What do you mean?
Well, there was actually the Harma Silver Cartel, and maybe the name is not as mischievous as it sounds, but they were very insistent on that they were going to bring rum back to the galaxy, like rum that hasn't been had since early Earth years before we really even reached the stars. The kind of rum that real pirates of the legends used to have.
To each their own, I guess.
Oh, it's definitely not watered down. My goodness, my head's still spinning. But it was pretty cool. I mean, they had a lot of people bringing in alcohol and a lot of people protecting alcohol being brought in. It's kind of funny to think all these pirates are usually busy stealing stuff, and yet now they're actually protecting the rum.
Well, they might have still stolen some of the alcohol to deliver it to Harma, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's for a good cause. It's probably one of the best community goals that the Pilots Federation has sponsored in a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to fly out there and try some then. It sounds like it's pretty intense.
Make sure you're of space age.
Yes, of course, Commander.
I'm just kidding. They're pirates. They don't care. But yeah, it was kind of fun. You know, a fun little thing for us to get involved in. There's been a lot of tension lately between the Empire and the Federation, and not even just the Empire and Federation, but a few of the other superpowers have been involved in it. The faction of Yuri Grom, most notably, joined up with the Empire in attacking Federation space. A lot of Felicia Winter's space went down because of it, and a few other independent powers joined as well, except for the pirates. The Kumo crew kind of does whatever the Kumo crew wants to do.
Yeah, they don't really follow traditional rules or regulations per se. But yeah, I mean, it seems like recently, though, the whole galaxy has been a little agitated with one another over the prolonged encounters and back and forth in like Pleiades and you know, all that, especially with the possible threat of aliens.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be tough for both Federation and Empire powers alike, because you've got the Empire, which, you know, originally was just a rebel group from the Federation, but is now as powerful, if not more powerful, than the Federation. And it's just, at this point, it seems silly because there's so much space out there, but it's so expensive to really expand. So, you know, they're all like, who's really going to control humanity? Who's going to take humanity as a whole the next era?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, without any leadership, it would just be anarchy, which I guess for the people who follow the likes of Yuri Grom and the Kumo crew, that would be fine. But for the general populace, that's not really what everyone wants. They want someone to lead them, and with all this going on, it's kind of hard. To be
honest, I mean, while I have been involved in this war back and forth, you know, it's undermining and you know, providing materials for different people. It's just not good for the Empire as a whole. I mean, if you look, they have problems at home. There's anarchy systems within Empire space and within Federation space and even within Alliance space that like are completely unregulated, and they have like compromised navigation beacons where pirates just hang out waiting for a trader who needs to come in and scan the system. And they're just waiting for him. You know, and that's never fun. And even if you do manage to like fend off, like no one's motivated to go out there and help out these traders or anything like that, because you go in there and you kill these pirates, but it doesn't matter because there's no governing body in that system and no one really with any sort of real structure to pay you for taking out these pirates.
Yeah, which I mean, I guess for some people that's kind of the beauty of it, but yeah, like I mean, there's really no point into expanding out unless there's a actual force out there that requires your assistance, at least my look of it.
Like, I do a lot of bounty hunting, and I mean, yeah, it's for a profit. But I also do it a bit because, I'm not a big fan of pirates or smugglers, and I don't like them in my systems, and I want to protect the people who are, making an honest living, and that's just something I do. So
strange. Like, who would think of that?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna risk, the 16 million credits of Anaconda just to defend some Type 9 who wandered into the wrong system. In that point in time, you're kind of on your own, and even ship-launched fighters. With the addition of the proper fighter bays refitted into some of these ships, it doesn't really help all that much when you've got like 6 Vipers coming at you.
Yeah. But I'm glad that they, the Pilots Federation, not the Federation, did allow or did approve those modifications to go on, because even though it doesn't really help against like a large threat, I guess. Even if it's like you sacrifice the fighter, maybe it gives the Type 9 or whoever it may be a little bit of time to jump out and not make that mistake ever again.
Mm-hmm. The fighters are definitely helpful. It's a little extra damage you can inflict on your enemies, and they have to worry about the fighter as well as you, and it's always a nice little thing to have there, regardless of what you're doing. Though, you have to pay your pilots, but it's not so bad. They only take a small amount, and I don't really mind. They're doing work.
Yeah, exactly. It would be worse if you had to, pay them and they weren't actually doing anything.
Yeah. This whole superpower struggle, though, hopefully is going to take a bit of a backseat. Like, I'm thinking with this clear, there's no really way we can deny it. Thargoid activity that's coming around. More and more Thargoids have been spotted. More and more evidence of their imminent arrival. These bases that people have found, which are clearly growing something and have some serious technology in them. All this is a threat to humanity as a whole, and what it seems to be doing is bringing humanity together.
Yeah, especially through the likes of Aegis. It seems like this new group, which is actually a jointly founded organization from scientists throughout the entirety of the galaxy, regardless of pledge. There's scientists from the Federation, the Empire, the Alliance, and even some independent powers, but mostly the 3 superpowers, and they decided to put their political agendas aside and really focus more on the gathering of intelligence and, researching the Thargoid bases and the structures and all that sort of stuff that's surrounding the Thargoid mystery right now.
Yep, and we all know that they have their own motivations and ideas about what they're going to do when the Thargoids come, but it is nice to see them working together in order to get as much information as possible. For a fact that the Federation's their policy is like, oh yeah, let's shoot them as soon as we see them.
Yeah.
They've publicly stated that the Empire is ready for battle, but their first encounter or their initial response is going to be to try to have a diplomatic solution. And the same thing for the alliance with Edmund Mahone and Jasmina Halsey is there as well. A very close advisor to him now, which is interesting. They're both stressing that we need to try to find a peaceful solution to these.
That would obviously be the preferable option, because then we could just coexist, and maybe they'll even, transfer or trade some information or some technology with us.
Yeah,
it would just be much better than war.
They clearly have some very advanced technology. The way that they can jump in and out of instances is insane. Never seen anything like it, and they just shut down our ships like right when they pop in. I don't even know how they're doing that, but it's pretty creepy. But it's cool. It's not even like they're giving like just random scientists in for it. They've got Professor Alba Tesrau of the Achenar Research Council. She's like a big name.
Oh,
and she's not like some intern or something somewhere. I mean, she's a pretty respected scientist. She's got a lot of, authority on the situation. So it's a pretty cool thing that they're willing to put that out there, willing to put some of their better people out there.
Right, yeah. And hopefully with a big name like that joining in, it will draw more people to working together, especially with the aliens and the Thargoids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming.
Yeah, my one worry about it would be maybe one superpower attempting to maybe sabotage another person's work or like gain extra information for themselves while leaving other people out of the loop, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's definitely a risk, but hopefully it will be all good and they'll just actually work together. Well, it looks like it's about time that we take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in a couple minutes, Commander.
Hello, are you a citizen of the Federation, Empire, or Alliance? Are you tired of spending all hard-earned credit on expensive passenger tickets? Fly Cosmoflot spaceflight is cheap as Space Lander. We have luxury-equipped Type 9, and remember, Cosmoflot spaceflight is top 1% of all Space Lander, but is in bottom 1% of Space Lander price. Fly Cosmoflot. Cosmoflot spaceflight is not responsible for accident, explosive compression, loss of life, loss of limb, loss of medical, loss of friend and family, being lost in general, accident, sale into slavery, or death. Fly, 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 Cosmoflot.
This hour of Radio Sidewinder is sponsored by Void Extract Coffee. We harness the power of the vacuum of space to enrich comet water and create a beverage noted for its unparalleled potency and flavor. Available in dark, medium, and light roast, and brand new Void Extract Iced Coffee. It's the cold quaff with a kick. That's Void Extract Coffee.
Welcome back, Commander, to the Radio Sidewinder talk show. It's kind of interesting because we were talking about all this, of course, the Cold War kind of coming to a bit of a standstill, which is kind of funny to say about a Cold War, due to some superpowers coming together to research Thargoids. We at Radio Sidewinder, are always interested in things going on in the galaxy, and
of course,
so your two favorite talk show hosts actually went out ourselves to look at some of these a little while ago.
Indeed we did. With the help of Commander Artum, we actually went to HIP 17044, Planet 1b, and we went to the alien site there, which is at a latitude and longitude of -25.24 and 19.56 if you want to go there yourself, Commander.
Yeah, and I mean, it was actually quite a bit of a trial to get all the stuff. But I mean, we went first. The first and easiest part was probably getting the unknown artifact. I mean, those are floating all throughout the Pleiades.
Yeah, they're all over the place now.
It's pretty easy just to grab one. But then we had to find an unknown probe, and that was pretty much where the challenge lied. Most of it lied, really. Because
that was when I went ahead of you to the Pleiades, because naturally Corvettes are a bit slower getting places.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I mean, you split up, you cover more ground.
Yeah. So, I mean, the hopes were that you would get the probe and I would get the artifact, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you were already closer to the alien site, so you would have headed over there as soon as you got there, so hopefully we'd arrive around the same time.
Yeah. Which actually was a pretty good plan, because I did get the artifact pretty quickly, and then the issue was that you couldn't actually find the probe very quickly. It actually took quite a while, and I think I actually was going to start jumping over to help you look, because we were just taking forever to find it.
Oh yeah, we were floating around Palladius Sector KC-U, B3-1, Planet 8, because it's a heavy ammonia world, and that's where we heard a lot of the probes were coming up around these ammonia planets. And I mean, we must have been out there just circling around that planet looking for signal sources, and we found quite a few signal sources.
Oh yeah.
Every time we jumped in, though, it was never what we were looking for. You know, if we found anyone distressed, we'd help them out, sure.
A lot of military convoys, though.
Yeah, a lot of military convoys. Quite a bit of destruction, actually, in the area.
A lot of wreckage sites.
But eventually, we were joined by the plucky Commander Artum, who was also looking for an unknown probe. She seemed very excited to help us out. It's nice when you meet somebody who's like just willing to help.
Yeah, it doesn't just immediately interdict you or something like that.
Maybe it kind of helped that she hadn't found an unknown probe as well. Like, we were pretty quick on that deal. We're like, if you find one, we'll follow you.
Yeah.
And if we find one, you can follow us. And I guess it worked, because pretty shortly thereafter she found one.
Yeah, and then we were on our way.
Parking was fun.
Yeah, actually that was probably one of the hardest things besides finding the probe, for me at least, because once you two got down, well, for anyone who's not been there, it's a nice, from space, it looks like a nice open sort of crater almost, with the Thargoid technology or Thargoid architecture surrounding it, and the actual site is in the dead center of this crater, and on the outside is a bunch of just dirt and plenty of prime real estate, one would say, for a ship to plop on down. But no, because most of the area is actually very rocky.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was Commander Artube, she found one right away. She was just an ass. And I was in an anaconda, and I had the hardest time. I mean, I found like just one specific spot that I could just barely fit to land.
Right.
And you brought an even bigger ship than that. So.
Yeah, I brought my Corvette, and so finding parking was hard, very hard actually. It's so hard that I actually said to you guys just to go ahead, and I'll just join you when I find a parking space. But I actually couldn't, at least for a little while, and I decided to, against what you guys were telling me, I decided to enter the site in my Condor.
Yeah.
And just leave my Corvette floating above somewhere.
And it made it kind of difficult, because since your Condor couldn't carry any of the artifacts or probes, the doors wouldn't respond.
No. It was almost like nothing was there. You had to come and open the doors for me so that I could come in.
Yeah, there was like one point when I left a little too early, it started to try to close around your tail, and I had to like run back before you. Yeah, I got my Condor stuck in the little doorway to the inner sanctum area. Well, eventually, luckily, you're able to find a spot to settle down, and it was really cool inside. There were lots of little Thargoid drone sort of things. I don't know what they were, but they were just floating around.
They look like stuff, almost like fish, but they're not fish. They're definitely some sort of mechanical or robotic type of thing that flies around with its own propulsion system and just works around on the inside of the sites.
And lots of good data. I mean, like,
yes,
so many things to scan.
Scanning.
If you like scanning, you're going to do some scanning. And we found inside an unknown link was already in there, which was pretty cool. And we all grabbed one of these things, and we took it to the center of where just the dead center of this base, right? And there's these sort of glowing pillars that we saw, and we put one object into each of them, and they rose up and they just turned on this map.
Yeah,
at least it looked like a map. It looked almost like a star map, but it was very beautiful.
Yeah,
really cool thing. But the interesting thing was, after it faded away, after its sequence was done, we could scan and get a data from the console. I want to say it's a console, I'm not sure, but that it emitted the light from.
Right, yeah, and it seemed like only one of us could actually get the data at a time. It was really strange.
We had to go through the sequence a few times.
Yeah.
But the cool thing was, I mean, it was the data file was just a sound, and it was really cool because after we were done messing around, we actually went up into space and brought the link and probe and artifact with us. And when we dropped them, they would like sort of communicate with each other, send little pings and flashes of light, and we could play the sound at them, and they would start pointing in different directions.
Right, yeah. And each sound was actually unique because we got different directions each time, which is what we thought. That must have been how the scientists at Canon discovered all the alien sites by...
Oh, yeah, the scientists at Canon, can't give them enough support. They're like on the ball.
On the
really
ball.
good.
That's all they are. They're just constantly finding the answers.
I think it's funny, like one person goes, "Hey, I found an alien site," and then Cannon's like, "Yes, we have also seen that alien site. We've just been there. We've been there for about 5 minutes. By the way, there's like 200 more."
It's almost like they've been tipped off. They work so efficiently.
Yeah. Well, their speed and efficiency always astounds me. It's definitely thanks to them that we have made a lot of the discoveries that we have made, and that we can sort of try our best to adequately prepare for whatever is coming, regardless of whether it's benevolent or not.
Yeah, really.
But I definitely suggest going out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely something to see when the map actually comes up, because like we were saying, it looks like it's a star map of some galaxy, but when compared to the Milky Way, it doesn't really look like the Milky Way. So maybe it's some other galaxy where the Thargoids are colonizing or something. I don't know. I don't really know much about them, to be honest, but it would be interesting to find out what the link is between them and this other thing, whatever it is.
Yeah, I wonder if it has anything to do with the white dwarf stars or the neutron stars, even, because, I mean, clearly the Thargoids have some, like, advanced control over witch space. I mean, they're very just poofing right in and out. They don't really seem to be going particularly fast when they do it. Sort of a black hole even opens up. And as we know, the neutron stars and the white dwarf stars affect our frameshift drive's ability to move through witch space.
Right, yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a map, something to do with that as well. A way for them to, maybe they just know how to use that extra boost even farther than we do.
Yeah, maybe they've optimized their... I don't want to say engines, because it doesn't really look like engines when they fly around, but whatever it is, maybe they've optimized it enough to provide almost instantaneous warping between witch space and, I guess, our current world.
Yeah, I mean, and the most important thing, I have to say, that we learned from this adventure that we went on, after Commander Artum and we had said our goodbyes to her, and she had gone along on her merry way, we went back down, and I mean, as you're looking at it from above, it's shaped much like the ships, actually.
Yeah.
And it's flowered design. It's got these massive sort of arches that go over it, and the important thing is, it is very fun to just jump your SRV right off the end.
Yes, very much so. I actually Steven here jumped off of the tallest spire first and landed somewhere near where my Corvette was parked, and then I proceeded to try and land on my Corvette from the tallest spire, but I believe I just missed it by a couple meters. But yeah, that was definitely a fun experience.
It was really close, but I mean, it really does tell you how big those spires are, because from up there, the Corvette was such a small target, and it's such a big ship.
I mean, it looks almost like a condor from way up there. It was so small.
So small.
And it took so long for us to touch the ground, too. I mean, it was
we were just falling. Especially with the occasional, boost for direction. I mean, that just helped us fall slower.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely eager to see what the future brings us as we delve more and more into these Thargoid mysteries.
Oh, for sure, yeah. If it's more tall spires to jump off, then hey, I'm down for it.
Yeah. I'll be there.
Yeah. Cannon, you tell me where they are, I'll jump an SRV off of them.
All right. Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's about all the time we have for this episode.
Yeah, it sure is. Be sure to catch us on the next episode of the Radio Sidewinder Talk Show, and be sure to check out our current holdings in Colonia, as well as hop in our Pilot's Lounge on our Galnet page and mingle with other commanders.
Absolutely. We're always welcoming new people to come and join us. Well, I'm going to go drink some more of that rum. So this is Commander Stephen Atronach signing off.
And I'm Commander Felix Jefferson signing off. Fly safe, Commander.
Radio Sidewinder.